Tuesday, July 13th, 2021, and the morning edition is live. On today's show, staff of the Bahamas Embassy in Haiti are back home. A busy holiday weekend for police here in the capital. We explore the different species of sponges here in the Bahamas. And a young entrepreneur gives back to our precious pearls in a tangible way. So let's start the morning off right. About to be a very productive week. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning edition. I'm LaDawn Davis.
Good morning. Hope you all had a great Independence weekend. It's a Tuesday morning. I know some persons are waking up thinking yesterday was a Sunday, but yesterday was a Monday. It was a long. I enjoyed this weekend.
It was a pretty good weekend.
This weekend seemed pretty longer than ever.
And there were a lot of fun-filled family activities.
I think I need to detox. I did a lot of eating on the weekend.
God. Did you gain any weight? Anything? No?
I am scared to go on the scale. The scale may say one at a time, social distance, one at a time. But
I know,
like some folks, when it's their birthday, like when your birthday is coming up, the whole month you celebrate. So why should we stop celebrating our 48th last week? So we're going to continue this weekend. Yes, we have a trivia. And this morning's trivia, once again, sponsored by Janae's Uniform Center. Who was the first woman to contest an election here in the Bahamas? LaDawn, don't know how to answer this.
I was just about to answer.
You've been wrong since wrong came up with wrong.
I think I know the answer to that one.
So we're going to give away this gift certificate to Janae's Uniform Center. We'll give the answer at the end. And it seems like nobody wants to go to Comfort Suites.
Well, I think we probably need to get
Last week we told them how many gold balloons are on here. Nobody guessed it right. It was 93, so we're doing it again. If you want to win a one-night stay at Comfort Suite, guess how many black balloons are here on the set. We want to take a guess on that?
I'm going to say 235.
Don't text the phone. 477-0546. That answer is wrong. All right? It was 93 golden balloons, so just work it out to see how much black balloons are here. 477-0546. Text your answer to that phone and you can win yourself a one-night stay at Comfort Suite. Nobody wants to
bear in mind the shapes of the
balloons, and then we get more balloons at the bottom and some in the box. So it is 93 was golden. So just say what is what. Lloyd Allen, how's it going out there on the streets Tuesday morning?
Well, of course, good morning, Fisher and LaDawn. It's a great start to the Tuesday morning, and good morning, Bahamas. We're on location live in Carmichael Road area. And of course, your morning traffic report begins right here. As you can see from our shots here, it's a busy location, cars heading in every direction. And so, of course, that's a great start to the morning. Now, we do want to advise motorists that there were some showers overnight that may have created some wet conditions around town. And so, of course, we ask that you drive with caution and with care. Apart from that, no major obstructions reported in other parts of the capital. And so, of course, you should be able to get to your morning destination without much delay. We also do want to remind you of that sweet period anytime from 7:30 all the way up to about 9 o'clock. That's when traffic peaks around the island. And so, of course, you want to get up before that rush. This morning, we're also joined by Sergeant Creston A. Johnson from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, giving us a traffic update over the weekend period.
A pleasant good morning to you and a pleasant good morning, Bahamas. Over the weekend period, it was a busy one. We had a total of 10 traffic accidents that involved damage. We had 7 of those accidents that involved injury, 1 hit-and-run accident, and 1 traffic fatality, which occurred in the western area of New Providence Island. In addition to that, we also had a number of traffic operations throughout the New Providence Island where 300 plus persons were cited for traffic infractions. Of those 300 persons that were cited, the majority of those persons were cited for driving in excess of the speed limit. There are currently 4 persons who remain hospitalized as a result of being involved in a traffic accident.
Well, thankfully, it wasn't one of those 300, but what we're talking about this morning is sort of related. We're talking about the service road, which takes us right to the entrance off of Carmichael Road. to Wendy's restaurant, and of course to Super Value. Any advice for motorists as well as pedestrians utilizing this route?
Yes. Well, of course, first let's talk about what a service road is. A service road usually runs parallel to a highway or any busy thoroughfare. So, for example, we know that the Carmichael Road area, in this area we call this City 2000. This is where we have majority of residents utilize there's a high volume of vehicular and pedestrian traffic. So what has been provided is a service road that allows access for schools, residents, and the local business owners. So in order to travel on those service roads, you have to be conducting some type business of that nature, that is residence, school, or local businesses. You have to be utilizing those services in order to access that service road. But we find that, especially in areas like Tawny-Darling Highway or on the Sir Charles Sanders Highway, we find that persons utilize the service road in order to beat traffic, and that causes huge difficulties for persons who are utilizing that area for the right purpose. So we want to, as much as possible, encourage residents to be mindful that if you are utilizing the service road, to travel at a moderate speed. You want to, at all times, adhere to the rules of the road. That service road is not there for you to just take advantage of. It's there for the convenience and for the safety of persons who live in those areas, for students who go to school in those areas, and for local business owners and persons who are going to those establishments.
Well, a great update there. Of course, that's been your Tuesday traffic report from City 2000, Carmichael area. Lloyd Allen, LaDon and Fisher, back to you guys in studio.
This morning we are waking up to 81 degrees, some rain out there, thunderstorms here and there, winds east-southeast at 9 miles per hour, humidity 83%. The northern extent of a tropical wave will support shower and thunderstorm activity over portions of the northern islands while moving westward. Meanwhile, high-pressure ridging maintains moderate to locally fresh winds. For all areas, weather variably cloudy, warm, a bit hazy, and breezy with isolated to widely showers and thunderstorms occurring mainly across portions of the northwest Bahamas throughout tonight. Showers may become locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Your daytime high temperature reaching 91 degrees Fahrenheit, overnight low of 77. As we look ahead to Wednesday, breezy in the morning, 89 in the day, 78 at night, and then on Thursday, the same condition, breezy with periods of sun, 90 in the day, 79 at night.
Foreign Affairs officials waking up satisfied today that staff of the Bahamas Embassy in Haiti are back home. It's been nearly a week since Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse was assassinated. Last night, our news team got exclusive access at Odyssey Aviation as Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Darren Henfield, led a small delegation to welcome the diplomatic team back home. Chargé d'Affaires Betty Greenslade is elated to finally land on Bahamian soil.
The day of the assassination was as if you could hear a pin drop. Really, really quiet. And people are we were all in shock. I think whichever or whomever enemies he had, even they were in shock. After that, it was the mood towards finding who did it. And I must say that I believe that helped to galvanize the people together, because their motive then was to find the person who did this to us. They took a president from us.
We have mixed emotions because we don't want it to be felt as if we're abandoning Haiti. But our first priority as a Ministry of Foreign Affairs was to get our team home and safe.
It was a busy weekend for detectives here in the capital as they investigated several homicides this past holiday weekend. The latest taking place shortly before 6 o'clock yesterday evening at a car wash on East Street opposite Coconut Grove Avenue. Initial reports revealed that the lifeless body of a man was found lying under a shelter with gunshot wounds above his body.
A number of persons were gathered under this shelter where this car wash is located, and a small dark vehicle approached. A lone male exited that vehicle, armed with a firearm, and discharged a number of shots in the directions of the individuals, fatally wounding the victim. We're appealing to anyone in this community who might have seen what happened to contact the nearest station or to contact the Criminal Investigations Department at 502-9991 or 2.
The police press liaison also providing information on that murder on Arawak Key Sunday night. What we can tell you is that the victim was approached by an armed gunman who fired shots in his direction, causing injuries to the body. Officers on the scene reported that the male victim was alert and suffered from gunshot wounds. He was taken to hospital where he later died.
They were able to accost the suspect after a short chase, and a firearm was recovered in that instant. To say that that murder last night was connected to any other would be preempting the investigations that is going on with the officers. They have to get their information and correlate it and come to some conclusion. We're not able to come to a conclusion at the matter or on that matter at the moment.
An intense joint search and rescue effort is underway by officials of the Royal Bahamas Police and Defense Forces on locating a man missing at sea. The man, whom family identified as Drew Rigby, was on a jet ski that collided with a sea craft near Rose Island on Sunday. Police revealed that the male driver of the jet ski sustained injuries to both legs while Rigby was ejected into the water.
The Royal Bahamas Defense Force and the Royal Bahamas Police Force Marine conducted search in that area. However, we have not been able to locate that victim as yet. In respect to the passengers on the sea craft, all 6 persons were accounted for on that craft, and the investigations in that matter continues.
51 new cases of COVID-19 being reported in the Ministry of Health's latest release, 44 here in New Providence, 3 in Grand Bahama, and 2 each in Bimini and Cat Key and Eleuthera. The national COVID-19 case count is now 13,165. A previously reported case that was pending has also been identified and added to the case count here in New Providence. 5 other New Providence cases confirmed a history of travel within the past 14 days. Of the new cases, 18 are males and the other 33 females. Hospitalizations are at 58, 54 moderately ill, and 4 in the intensive care unit. There are 861 active cases with 13 new recoveries, bringing that total to 11,958. The COVID-19 death toll stands at 254.
And when we come back, we give you some tips when you're buying a used car. So keep it locked.
Everything is changing, and your favorite hardware and home improvement store is getting with the program. We Buy You Sell is rolling out its new online shopping feature. If you go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, it's a quick and easy 3-step process. Step 1, browse the gallery and select your item. Step 2, add to cart. And step 3, check out. Go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, to shop with us today.
That's why we got the
She's a cancer advocate and an exceptional fashion designer and has given much to those in need. But now Jillian Curry-Williams is channeling her talents into a new book. The fashionista, I will call her this morning, joins us live in studio. Jillian, welcome back to the Morning Edition.
Thank you. Morning. It's good to be here.
So Jillian, talk us a little bit about your new book.
Well, my book is called Beyond Diagnosis, A Caregiver's Journey. Here it is. It's a book that talks about the role of the caregiver and the role that I played as a caregiver for 3 persons that I knew.
And talk to me a little bit more about the inspiration and where did the idea come from to actually pen this book?
Well, I was talking to someone one day and I was telling them, how I was still trying to figure out why God had me to do the print. And then I was like, the bigger flower on the print, which we call the fabric of hope, is for the caregiver. And I was like, wow. So I was a caregiver for my aunt. I was a caregiver for my father. And then I was a caregiver for Samantha. And the person was like, oh, there's a book there, that sounds like a book to me. So I knew it had been prophesied to me over and repeatedly that I would write a book, but someone was specific with me last year and said that you would write a book on cancer. And I was like, me a book on cancer. I never had cancer, so I couldn't figure that out. But after I spoke to the friend, and she said, there's a book here with which you've gone through, I was like, yeah, that could work. So we met with some persons, the publishers, and they agreed after talking to them that, yeah, there was this book, and, you know, we can put stuff in it about the caregiver. After some research here, I realized that there was really, you know, like there are caregivers associations throughout the US and Canada and Europe, and I was like, there's nothing here. And so this book talks about the caregiver, gives advice. Yeah, that's what this book is all about.
And how long did it take for you to actually pen this book?
We started on March 15th, and they gave a date of 3 months, and the publishers were right on time with this. I wrote, and they brought my words to life.
So I'm going to give you the task of giving out a trivia question. The lucky winner will actually get one of your books. So are you able to give us a question for this morning?
What's the color for the caregiver? You know, there's colors for different types of sicknesses, but what is the color for the caregiver?
All right, and you heard it. What is the color for the caregiver? Answer that question and you'll get one of Jillian's books. Jillian, thank you so much for joining us here on the Morning Edition, and all the best to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're looking for some tips on a pre-owned vehicle. Well, this morning, Lord Allen has you covered.
You might buy an initial car cheap up front, but it's going to cost you very, very expensive at the tail end.
Well, nowadays, it seems like everyone's getting a car of their own, and most of those vehicles on our roads being used vehicles. But are there some questions you may need to ask before handing over your cash and getting those keys? Senior manager at Glass Accessory Warehouse, Trevor Strawn, says he's seen it all. Secondhand Japanese car owners pouring way more into a car than they anticipated.
You want to make sure that the vehicle is compatible with a vehicle that goes into the United States.
While imports are standard from both the U.S. and Asian market, Strawn argues part availability becomes blurry, especially for Asian or European vehicles.
Look at the other used car dealerships on the road now that is actually bringing in a lot of the Japanese cars, and they normally tend to buy the cars that are compatible with the American market.
He says brands like Suzuki, Toyota, Nissan, and Honda are for the most part accessible, but warns of unfamiliar brands offered at cheaper rates.
If that is a Japanese direct car, God forbid you have an accident, you need a headlight, you need a hood, you need a bumper, all right. Those three items there can probably run you into around $1,500, $1,600.
Strawn claims developing countries like the Bahamas are used as dumping ground for aging vehicles, with shrinking part availability and increasing operational cost. Car dealer and industry expert Ben Albury agrees.
In Japan, they give incentive, well, they make it more expensive. It's a higher road tax every year the older the vehicle gets. Most commonly is that people who are, getting burnt either through bringing in their own cars and, not knowing what they're purchasing.
Now, the used car market has spiraled upward and is reported by the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe to be a $17.6 billion industry, with a significant portion supported by the Caribbean and Latin America. But whatever you decide, both offer advice to new or used car buyers.
Your car is like your human body, so you should be servicing your car no less than twice a year.
A lot of the newer vehicles are going into hybrids, or they're going into smaller engines that produce more power and burn less fuel.
The Department of Inland Revenue's tax holiday on hurricane supplies began on Friday, and according to the purchase locally with a zero-rate tax until July 31st. Acting Chief Valuation Officer and Controller Chandra Strawn says while merchants and consumers are set to benefit from the temporary tax break, there are some exceptions.
So it has to be 5/8 exterior or roofing ply, and the other restriction is around generators. We're only generators that are 20K or less will be sold zero rated.
Many young Bahamians are on the hunt for unemployment opportunities to support their financial obligations amidst a COVID-19 pandemic. But Executive Director of the National Training Agency, Gadvin McDonald, says employers are expressing concerns about some of the trends they've encountered during the application process.
More than 50% of the applicants are unqualified for the positions that they applying, even though they are entry-level position. And what we discover is these are more so related to soft skills deficiencies, like customer service skills, communication skills, the inability to solve problems, and even as it relates to attitude, negative or poor attitude that prohibits them from performing effectively on the job.
McDonald says NTA has soft skills training programs aimed at assisting Bahamians who fall under this category to improve their skills and become more attractive in the job market.
Every individual who enter the National Training Agency, they have to go through. It's a 4 weeks training program before you enter into your technical skills. We are excited about the results that we are producing from that particular training, because we believe at the end of the day we transform people's life in a big way, and they are able to go on these jobs with a different attitude, with an understanding of what is expected of them in the workforce.
A young entrepreneur is giving back in a big way. Clyson Beckford operates Paradise in-home care for seniors on Collins Avenue, where a number of aging residents are receiving assistance based on Beckford's training in gerontology.
My grandmother, she was actually the only grandmother I had the luxury of actually knowing, on my father's side. So, seeing her during her twilight years, me and my family was able to, ensure that she get the best quality of care. So I wanted to just be the same help for others who needed that assistance.
Beckford received a bachelor's degree at Windsor-Salem State University, and for the past 2 years, he has put all of his facility, which has attracted a number of aging residents from throughout this country. Patients receive regular meals, private rooms, and one-on-one assistance from caretakers. 89-year-old Abaconian Sarah Higgs has been a resident for the past 7 months and says she wouldn't trade it for the world.
I come to Nassau when I was 14, and I worked at Rubens, the clothing shop, for 72 years. I always have a good spirit. And I'm sorry that in one way that I had to come here, but I'm glad in the other because I'm treated nice. I have a niece that they live now in Marsh Harbor. So she comes to visit me.
And as we head to the break, we take a look back at today in Bahamian history. On July 13, 2001, the 5th Bahamas Games, opened at the Queen Elizabeth Sports Center. Also on July 13, 2004, Grafton Ifill III set a new junior national record in the men's 100 meters at the World Junior Track and Field Championships in Italy. He finished 4th in the semifinal, running 10.39 seconds, which was good enough to make the final, where he finished in 6th place.
During this pandemic, it's our duty to ensure that all citizens, residents, and visitors are adhering to the COVID-19 safety protocol. Every person shall practice physical distance between themselves and others who are not of the same household of no less than 6 feet. I am Ambassador Amanda Edgecombe of the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit. Save a life that may be your own.
This message brought to you by the Ministry of National Security in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns now up 2 games to 1 in the NBA Finals after winning the first 2 games at home. The Suns dropped Game 3 on the road Sunday, losing 120-100 to the Milwaukee Bucks. DA got off to a hot start and scored 16 points in the first half, but foul trouble was the big story in this one as the Bucks took advantage when the Bahamian big man was on the bench. He was limited to 2 points in the second half, finished with 18 points in 24 minutes. Game 4 is tomorrow night, right back there in Milwaukee. After watching a 16-race win streak come to an end in Hungary last week, Bahamian track and field star Shawnee Miliwibo was back on the track just a couple days later for the women's 20 meters at the Diamond League meet in Monaco. In Hungary, Shawnee lost to Jamaican Sharika Jackson, and in Monaco, she would line up with another Jamaican and World 100 meter champion Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, and she will storm from behind. Jamaican got up quick and covered Shawnee early, but the Bahamian fought back gallantly in the final 50 meters to take the victory in 22.33 seconds. And Bahamas finishing 3rd overall in Costa Rica at the 2021 edition of the NACAC Under 18-23 Track and Field Championship. They tallied 42 medals, 17 gold, 18 silver, and 7 bronze. Some of the standout performances include 18-year-old Camille Rutherford, who took the sprint double in the 100 and 200 meters, finishing with times of 11.36 and 23.42 respectively, a personal best at the 200. Rima Ottobar won the under 20 javelin with a new personal best of 180 feet 7 3/4 of an inches. Throw has currently ranked 9th in the world for juniors. Jamaica won the meet with 67 medals. And the speedster Jazz Chisholm scoring his 11th home of the season in dramatic fashion. Chisholm took a pitch to right field and scored an inside-the-park homer after Braves outfielder Ronald Acuna misjudged the ball and eventually left the game with a season-ending injury. This was the first inside-the-park home run for the Marlins since 2018 and the first at home since 2015. Jazz and the Marlins lost 2-3 to the Braves and entered the All-Star break in last in the National League East at 39-50. That's 9 games back of the division-leading New York Mets. After the break, one local entrepreneur trying to revive the sponging industry.
I'm Dr. Pinder. During this global pandemic, we ask for you to be responsible. As we fight the COVID-19 virus together, we would like to encourage you to do the following. Wash your hands. Cover your mouth and nose with a flex elbow or tissue when coughing and sneezing. Practice social distancing by staying 6 feet apart. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, and if you must go out, wear a mask. We stay here for you. Please stay home for us. To those of you on the front line, we salute you as we continue this fight together.
This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health in conjunction with GD Media Solutions and this television station.
The sponging industry may have died out in this country over the years, but one local entrepreneur is hoping to revive it. The morning team visited the Seabreeze community to see what types of sponge is processed and produced in his backyard. Take a look.
We saw it to be a very lucrative market, and so myself, along with another friend of mine, we decided just give it a try.
Lyndon Johnson has about 3,000 sponges scattered across the lawn of his backyard in eastern New Providence that he purchased from divers from around the country. Over a year ago, he developed a love for the industry and decided to become an exporter of sponges to the United States and the European markets. He says sponging runs in the family as his great-grandfather was a sponge boat captain years back.
There are several species of sponges and you could find on every single island in the Bahamas. You have the wool. The wool is the most expensive sponge. You have hardhead, you have yellow, you have grass, and you also have the grass -- and you could also find reef sponge here in the Bahamas as well. The sponging industry is extremely lucrative in terms of it depends on how you purchase your sponge firstly, and then also the product itself. Very often you find the fishermen wants top dollar for their sponge. They cannot get the top dollar because many times the sponge is not the grade one that the customers need.
But before the sponges are packed and shipped off, Lyndon says they must be examined, weighed, and cleaned.
I do very, very, very little cleaning here. The process, once the sponge, fishermen dive up the sponge it comes out very, very black. It has a black milk on it, and extremely, the scent, it's almost like if you smell a rotten conch, it's almost 7 times that. So the sponge, after more or less, they take the sponge out of the water, they put it on the land for a few, let's say 3 days, then they put it back in the water, and so they can more or less, it can wash itself, and then there's a beating process to wash it all of that milk, and then this is what you see at the end process.
While explaining to us what the sponges are used for, Lyndon revealed that the wool sponge is actually the most expensive.
Because of the texture and what the end user uses it for. And I think that is why it's very scarce here in the Bahamas. It's scarce in the Mediterranean, and it also is very scarce in Tanzania and North Africa. It's very scarce. So once you have it, you can get it at a good price for many different things. From whether it be from feminine protection, they also use it for padding. They use it for even in the hospitals. So all of those places are the end users of it. And also the sponge you actually find in the food stores like the Brillo, etc. All of that is the base. The sponge here locally is the base for the sponge that you see in the supermarkets.
And Fisher, it's safe to say that Lyndon Johnson is on a sponging move. He's really doing his thing out there. I know you know him personally, eh?
He's a good friend of mine. We got the answers today for the trivia question. Who was the first female? And that is Doris Johnson to vote. And we got the winner is Ryan Stubbs. So Ryan, you can pick up your gift certificate later on. It looks like nobody wants to win this one night stay at Comfort Suite. We had some close answers. The number of black balloons here on the set is 78. We have some persons say 70. It's 76, pardon me. It's 76. We have some persons say 78 and some say 75. We'll try again tomorrow. We can give you a head start. We're going to guess how many aqua balloons. So take a picture and start counting.
So I was way off. I said 230.
They were way off. So we're going to give you one more chance tomorrow to guess the aqua balloons. Nobody got it right today. It was 93 yellow, gold, shall I say gold?
Yeah, gold.
76 black, and 432 in total. So now you do your multiplication and find out how many aqua balloons here are.
And remember now, it's 2 sets of aqua balloons. I think I've given it away. Just a little, but yeah, just giving you a hint. And be sure to stay tuned into the ZNS Network for news as it happens, radio and TV updates throughout the day. Then you can tune into the Northern Edition and the Bahamas Tonight at 7. And that's a wrap for us this morning. For the entire team.
Good morning. Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great morning, everyone.